If you start to grab a camera or beginner photography, you might find these terminology like ISO, shutter speed, and the aperture, and you get to think like, when do I use it? Or what is that for? So today I wanna talk about these three camera basics: ISO, shutter speed, and the aperture. So if you like it, don't forget to subscribe and thumbs up. And okay, without further ado, let's get into it. So let me start with the shutter speed. Well, shutter speed is the time while shutter is opened, but it's so fast in the camera, like 1/20, 50, 100, or 1000 and 5000. You know, that is so fast. So faster shutter speed, you said, less lights camera can get. Otherwise, you know, slower shutter speed makes such a bright image and it is so terrible and shaky without having the tripod. Fast shutter speed captures the moments like flying the bees or jumping the people. You know, you can feel the moments like time is stopped. And also slower shutter speed creates such a movements like moving the car or running the water. You know, you can feel the movements of the object. That is so good. Also, shutter speed significantly matters when you film in another place. You may get this, it's called flicker. Since you are filming in different light frequency, your footage will be so flickering. So setting an appropriate shutter speed is necessary, so necessary wherever you are. We have the aperture, which also called the focus on the camera. It shows the opening lenses that light passes to enter the camera. Lower aperture creates the bokeh on the background and more focus on the subject. And the higher aperture creates, you know, focus most of the things on the photo, whether that is the backside or front. Also, maximum aperture and minimum apertures are different every single lens, so you really have to figure out what you wanna do with the lens. So let's say you wanna take a portrait, you must get the lenses at least it has the 1.4 or 1.8 aperture. Or let's say you wanna take a photo far away enough, you have to get the lens like telescope lens. So it really depends on what you wanna do. Also, low aperture is brighter than the high aperture because lens is opened wider. So setting an aperture or focus is one of the key to set the brightness of the photo. Next feature is the ISO. Well, ISO is the sensibility, the camera's ability to capture the light. So if you have the higher ISO, which means the camera can capture more light, and less ISO means less light. You know, it's pretty much simple, right? We basically have the ISO between 100 to 6400, but it really depends on the place and how the lights goes. If you are in the place where the camera can capture the natural lights, we'd better set the ISO around 100 to 320, or we can also set the auto ISO. So let's say you are taking a food photo, skyscrapers or people in the street, you know, as long as we have the natural lights, we don't need to worry about the ISO. But if you are taking a photo in the dark or filming in the night, we have to care about and figuring out an appropriate ISO. It generally says that we have to set the ISO 1000 to 3000 when you are taking a photo in the night, but of course this one is depending on the place, your photo and your camera, because I did a test and as you can see there are no obvious noise on this photo. Recently, there are some type of the camera that does not make a noise even with the high ISO. So I think this one really depending on your camera. But taking a photo and filming with the low ISO is the ideal for most of the times. And once again, we have to really be careful when you raise up the ISO because it will make a noise. So thanks for joining us today. You know what, these three things, aperture, shutter speed and the ISO, these are the things that I wanted to know when I began photography and videography. So you guys are so lucky. So once again, thanks for joining us today. If you like it, give me a comment below. And also, you know what, there are so many good photos and videos in my Instagram account. So don't forget to check that out. Links in my description. And stay tuned, stay safe, and I wanna see you guys in the next videos. Goodbye.